So 1 hour in, the current pressure is 122.8 psi. The starting value was 122.3, you might recall. That delta P doesn't seem to add up, but if you take into account that it is temperature compensated, it is, right? So it's raised about a half of a psi, a little less when you consider the temperature compensation, but you can see our leak check line is going in the right direction here. It's actually gaining a little bit of pressure because of the ambient temperature increase. Not much, about a fraction. Okay, so I'll keep this brief, guys. I don't want to do too much rambling on here. So if you recall, our start pressure was 122.3 some 91 minutes ago, and our current pressure, because of the temperature change, is 123.1. Differential pressure corrected for temperature shift. It's not perfect, but it's close. There is the trend line. So again, our current pressure, our start pressure, and the trend line. So I don't think there's much point in continuing this leak check, because the temperatures only climb as we get into the afternoon. And this is the thing with leak checks, right? The last time I serviced this vehicle, I changed the compressor, I did the leak check. The leak check was fine, but this is a static leak check, right? There's really no thermal stresses on this. When things start to either cool or heat up, obviously things expand and contract, then you can get leaks. So this can be extremely frustrating. You know, you can see that this looks like a good pressure test, and you know, what more can you go by? There's only so much you can do, right? So I'm going to call this good on the pressure test. I'm going to purge the nitrogen, and then I'm going to pull it under vacuum. Keep in mind, for vacuum purposes here, guys, I'm at 1,350 feet, so around 29 inches of mercury. Gauge pressure is just about all I'm going to get. But I've got a micron gauge now, and I'll maybe throw that on, and we'll see what kind of results we can get with that. So anyway, pressure test appears to be good, so we'll call that good. So preliminary vacuum. So that's just a preliminary vacuum. There's no much point in pulling it for hours on end if you have a leak, right? So as you can see, I've isolated the system here now, and we'll see if it holds this vacuum. So we'll be able to follow the trend line here. You can see the time is still running. Hope you can see that. So I do expect a bit of an increase in the pressure as in the system. Obviously in the oil, this is not a new system, so of course there's old oil, there's a refrigerant trapped within the oil. It'll vaporize out as the pressure goes low, and I expect to see a wee bit of an increase in the vacuum pressure here. Now keep in mind, guys, I'm at 1,350 feet, so although that number doesn't seem low enough, corrected for elevation is reasonable. It's not great, but it's kind of in and around where I expected. So we'll see if this holds. So there's the trend line. It's pretty reasonable, guys. Again, there was a small increase, and this is a static vacuum as opposed to the dynamic vacuum here. Again, I expected a small increase. Well, I think that is acceptable. 10 minutes or so. Really no leak. Really you want no increase at all, of course, but really I think in the practical world, at least it's been my experience, that's not really the case. So we can, again, the whole point to this, to purge the moisture for the system. We're dropping the pressure in the system, of course. The boiling point of water, the moisture in the system will drop, and you're trying to purge the system of any moisture. Of course, that's the whole point to the process. So we'll carry on with this, and I'll leave this for quite a while. Bluetooth is an absolute godsend for a slacker like me. That's trending in the right direction.